of the Healing from Lyme Disease Summit. So I'm really excited to be sharing information with you about that. You can grab, if you're interested, on Instagram, go up top to the bio and check the link. You can get free access to the summit. And everybody else, link is in the description. But more importantly, this is Lyme Awareness Month, and today I want to talk to you about preventing tick bites. This is a really big topic, but I think that it's one that is really important. And it's funny, I see I have my Instagram backwards. Pretty funny. So, hey, one of the things I'm trying to do here is get to everybody at once. So we're doing some fun tech stuff, as you can see, with the phone and the mic and everything. But yeah, Lyme Awareness Month. The most important thing to me is that we start off, and our goal is to prevent Lyme disease, not to be recovering from it. And in our Lyme Summit on day 3, Dr. Darren Engels talks to Alexis Chesney a lot about this. Her and I have interviewed. There's stuff on our YouTube channel about that. But what I wanted to do today is just share with you some of the things that are most important to me, that are simple, easy things that can make a massive difference and decrease your risk of getting a tick bite. Now, if you stick around, we're not going to be super long, but stick around to the end. I'm going to be telling you a trick that has been shown in studies to reduce tick bites when you're outside by over 70%, or I should say the number of ticks on you. And that's really the key here. So let's just dive right into this one. I'm going to turn my Instagram around real quick. And so this here is a deer tick, and the one on the right, and that's a fingernail. So the one on the right is the adult female deer tick, and the one on the left is a nymph tick. And these are the ones that basically on the right, the mama here, she can get about 5% of people are going to get Lyme from her, but about 95% of people are going to get Lyme disease and other tick-borne co-infections from that nymphal deer tick. And the important part about that nymph deer tick there is it's kind of a no-see-em. So I'm going to move our Instagram folks here. Oh, I'm right over top of the pile of poppy seeds. But the thing I want you to really focus on here is those poppy seeds are important, right? Because right now, right there, that is a poppy seed in about real life, right? Depending upon your device. Within that, there is a deer tick, nymph. So then if I zoom in a little bit, can you start to see where that little tick might be? So again, these are poppy seeds like on a bagel type of thing. And here oops, sorry about that. There we go. We've got the nymphal deer tick circled there. But the point of this is to show you, if you can think about the poppy seed on a bagel, no wonder we miss these, right? They like warm, damp, wet places. So they like your groin, they like your armpits, they like your ears, the behind the ears, in the ears, up in the hair. This is why it's a lot of times challenging. And certainly they'll bite you anywhere, but these are high target areas. And I'll give you a couple tips in a few moments about how to prevent those as well, because there's a couple of really low hanging fruit things you can do for next to nothing that are going to make a huge difference. So one of the things we have to remember is that ticks love the edge. I'm going to move my face out of the way there. So the edge, the important part is that deer aren't really the biggest issue. It's more the chipmunks and the mice and these other vectors. And the reason that we have this issue here is ticks love being about 10 foot into the woods to 10 foot out into the lawn. So the edge is that intersection between the lawn and the woods. So if you create a garden, you create edge. If you go hiking way back in the backcountry, you're not going to have as many problems as hiking near a trail. But most of the biggest problem is this is where most of these ticks are, right? Is in our environment. And so again, this is what a lot of our kids are doing in the summer. This is actually a really good example here, because on the right, you see on the bottom that they've got the swing set right in the corner. And the tick is not going to be coming down through the trees. The tick is actually going to be coming from all that shrubbery and the edge there, and they're going to be climbing on you. So while you might need a little more sunscreen or some long clothes, moving the swing set more into the open area is going to decrease that risk. And one of the things that's important to understand is that Lyme is considered paradomestic. Paradomestic means about 75% of people who get Lyme disease are going to get it in their backyard or their friend's backyard. So this isn't, you definitely have to think about it when you're going on a hike, but this is a place where we can make a huge difference. A little bit, move that swing set out into the sun, clean up. If you have a garden, just be aware. It's not have one. It's just know that these are areas where ticks are going to be higher. So the couple tips we'll go over in a minute here are going to help us with that. One of the things here is I have this nice thing. It's from the Connecticut Agricultural Experimentation Station. It was published by Kirby Stafford in 2007. To the best of my knowledge, you can still pick this up online. It's a great PDF. But basically what they're saying here is they want you to go in here and say, hey, why don't we put a little wood chips and stuff, and there's a stone wall, and like, let's make this barrier here, right? But we want a 3-yard tick migration zone away from the swing set, away from other things that we're interested in keeping good in our yard. But the flower garden, be careful here, because they're talking about tick-resistant flower garden. Since this was published, there's new literature showing that if you pull ticks off of a deer, very commonly the ticks that are on the deer will have like 2% of them have Lyme. Whereas if you pull them off a mouse, it's 30, 40, 50% depending upon the area. So it's really the chipmunks and the mice. So if this is a garden that chipmunks and mice love, we're finding that that's going to be probably more important than worrying about deer. The thing about the deer that's so important is the deer are the ones that are telling you, hey, this is good habitat for the mice, for the chipmunks, and the ones that are going to be, the vector, the host for the deer tick. And now one of the things I use is Nix Ticks, personally, Connecticut Tick Control, but they have different tick controls all over the East Coast. So the bottom there, the nixticks.com, Nixticks, has this Bayer system where they do a little bit of spraying and a little bit of bait boxes. The spraying is really good. I did look up what the spray is. It is semi-toxic, but once it dries, it's in good shape. The issue with it really becomes just don't play with it when it's wet. Is it toxic? Yes. Is it, compared to all the other poisons we use, it's pretty minimal. The other part that's really magical about this thing, though, is when you look at the bait box there, they have the chipmunks and the mice come in, they put a little bit of fipronil, which is top spot, like we use in the dogs and the cats. And within 2 years of using this system, you can decrease the percent of infected nymphs on your property to less than 2%. So even if you're getting bitten, they're not going to be having Lyme. So this is a great, great, great product. So definitely check it out, because I don't feel like getting Lyme again, right? And so the other thing is you can also put on you some non-toxic stuff like cedar oil. So this is natural, DEET-free insecticide. And the important part about this, and this is Cedar Side brand, and they call it Tick Shield. The important thing to remember here is that with the cedar oil, it is one barrier. It is not perfect. I prefer it though over things like DEET, because if I spray DEET on a Band-Aid, like a traditional plastic Band-Aid, and you wait a second and run your finger across it, you've now melted the Band-Aid. So I don't really like it. If I went to a malaria infested area, I might use it. But there's another trick that I think is even more important here. And this is the use of permethrin. And so the easiest thing is grab Sawyer brand at some of the local places. I'll move myself yet again. Some of those local outfitters, like even Ace Hardware has it, like hardware stores, outdoor stores, all kinds of other places have this. You can get it on our everyone's favorite online retailer if you choose to shop there. A lot of places have this. It is toxic when it's wet, but particularly to fish and other aquatic life. So please don't be doing this next to a stream while you're camping. Do this before you go out. But it can be applied to the human skin as a treatment for scabies. So it's going to be very, very, very safe for us as long as we're not getting the wet in our eyeballs, our nose, our mouth, and that kind of thing. So I do usually recommend people put gloves on into your experience with doing this, but it's non-toxic when it dries, right? And so if you put this on your shoes and socks overnight, you drench them, follow the manufacturer's recommendations, and then you let them dry, you put them on and you go out hanging out in your yard, in the woods. This has been shown just by putting them on your shoes and your socks to decrease the number of ticks on your body by over 70% compared to someone who did not do this, right? This is huge. So you can bring down the number of ticks on your body by 70%, essentially by spraying your shoes. So if you do it yourself with the Sawyer brand or any, I'm not sure if there are other brands, there must be. But what's going to happen is this is going to last 6 to 8 washes. Or if you're like we do with our daughter for summer camps, if she goes away for a week or two, we spray them first. And then every new camp she goes to, we reapply before she goes. And it'll usually last, like it says, 6 to 8 washes. Now, if you have a lot of if you have a lot of clothes that you would like to do, and you don't really want to do this yourself, you can use a company called Insect Shield. They will do it for you. They report it'll last up to 70 washes once you do it. And they have different size bags. If you put it in the bag, you can shove it full, send it to them. They'll professionally impregnate it. And then you can also buy permethrin impregnated clothes that are professionally done when you buy them. But for me, the most important thing is spray the shoes. And then the other thing about permethrin that is good, and I'm glad we threw it here, is that it will repel all of these wonderful things down here. Ticks, which can give us Lyme and potentially Bartonella, Babesia, Anaplasma, lice, which can transmit Bartonella, and then all these other things, and certain fleas and flies can transmit Bartonella as well. And then there's all these other things that carry other infections you don't want. So permethrin is really good at repelling, and in the case of ticks, if they're not smart enough to get off right away, they're going to die from exposure to permethrin. So it's really important. The other part, though, one of the things I really think is, what else can we do without buying stuff? I think the lowest hanging fruit, the most effective thing to do is to get the permethrin on your shoes. But the other part would be to use those compression shorts and shirts. So I started doing this because they love your groin, they love your armpits. So why don't we seal them off? It's very easy. You can, so many different brands have exercise compression shorts, stylish social shorts. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of underwear now that are they have an occlusive barrier around that wraps around your leg, and it helps prevent the ticks from being able to get to that area that you want, that they want to be at, that you don't want them on. So let's do that. And then if you are outside, take your clothes off, put them in a bag or the dryer immediately. And then typically, depending upon your dryer, if it's electric or if it's if it's gas or whatever, you have to go longer or shorter depending on how fast it heats up. But typically about 15 minutes will kill these ticks. So I don't want to do this with all my clothes and get all the stains in them. But if I'm outside and I have outdoor clothes, so we like to spray them, and I like to take them off, and then you can put them in the dryer right away, and that can help. I also like taking a shower right away. Sounds crazy, but it really is helpful. You just get in, and ticks will walk around. A tick can go from your toes to your head in 60 seconds. So they're walking all around, but they typically will walk around for over a day before they bite you. Now, that doesn't mean it always happens. And I'll talk later in this month about how long you have to be, the tick has to be on you before you get infected, but it can be very quickly. But they walk around for a period of time before biting you. So you have this time where they're not attached to you. So take a shower, scrub your hair, feel those areas, get out, you're feeling safer, then have a friend or family member, or if you, or at least your favorite mirror around so you can do a quick tick check. But these are really easy things to do. If you can cover your groin with something that's occlusive, especially not like a thong or like a bikini thing, but when you're going out, get the exercise shorts that go a little bit lower. And then, again, shower right away, get the clothes taken care of. And then I can't say enough about how incredibly important it is to put the permethrin on your body, I should say on your socks and your shoes. You are decreasing your risk of the percent of ticks that will get on your body, on average, 70%. This is by far the easiest thing to do. So I hope that that's really helpful. Our goal here really is to help you prevent getting tick bites, because we know that, early prevention is number one, early diagnosis, treatment number two, and then hopefully no one has to come see us in our clinic to work with chronic Lyme if we can get the word out and do this. So please like and subscribe. That always helps. Turn on those notifications. Most importantly, if you don't mind, if you know someone who could benefit from this information, please share this with them. It's super helpful. And again, if you're interested in more stuff about Lyme disease, keep tuning in. We're going to be doing All the time we have new stuff coming out, especially this month for Lyme Awareness Month. And also we have the Healing from Lyme Disease Summit that's going on right now. Registration is free. If you're on Instagram, just check out the link above. Everywhere else, it's in the description. But basically come join us for free so that you can learn some more of these things from myself and a whole bunch of other amazing clinicians who stood out there. And there's Dr. Darren Engels, man. Great seeing you here, buddy. And Dr. Darren is one of those guys who made this happen. So reach out to him on his Facebook and everywhere else, and YouTube, Instagram, and just give him a shout out, because this is such a critical topic. And together we can get the information out. I mean, I do not understand personally why every magazine and every TV show in the entire world did not put out that paper that said, spray your shoes with permethrin, let them dry, put them on. You've now decreased the percent of ticks on your body by over 70%. We can almost guarantee that with nothing. I mean, this is the number one vector-borne illness in the United States, and the numbers are just growing. So together, if we can share this information and we can all just grab a bottle of Sawyer's and spray your damn shoes, we're going to be in such better shape. So get out there, do that. Join us for the Healing from Lyme Disease Summit. Thank you all for tuning in, and I can't wait to see you next time. Have an amazing afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are, and thanks very much for tuning in.